Welcome to HortTube, where we talk all things gardening. My name is Jim Putnam, and this is a Red Drift Rose. This is the low-growing, low-maintenance, disease-resistant Red Drift Rose. Red Drift Roses can reach 1 to 2 feet in height and probably 3 to 4 feet in width over time, but they're pretty easy to keep narrower than that. Like most roses, drift roses are extremely cold hardy. These can go all the way up to zone 4 and then down to zone 11. Once these drift roses are established, they're actually pretty fast growing. We can probably get 1.5 feet, maybe even a little more than that in width every season, but not a lot of height. Roses are definitely sun-loving plants. Even these disease-resistant varieties that would probably take a little more shade, I would also want to put them in an area that gets at least 6 hours of direct sun, and then all the way to full sun would be fine on these. A lot of different uses for these drift roses. They make fantastic ground cover plants in front of your other shrubs. They're great around walls where they'll weep over the wall a little bit like this one's doing. In this container right here, they make fantastic container plants. You can put some tall evergreen shrub behind them in a container. I probably, they could be used as a foundation plant as well if you had some depth to your foundation where you could put some evergreen things behind them, because these will go dormant in the winter, so I probably wouldn't use them as my main foundation plant, but they certainly would look great in front of your other foundation plants. Of course, the primary features of any rose are the roses. This one has these small red flowers, and they do it multiple times a season. They'll kind of tell you that they bloom, all summer long. I've kind of seen these do the same thing that knockouts do. They'll bloom heavily like it's doing now, and this thing is absolutely loaded with buds. It hasn't even really started flowering yet. I hope you can see all of these flower buds that are on it. And it'll bloom heavily like this, and then we'll get a few residual flowers while it kind of does a reset, and then it will come back into full flower again, and it'll do that multiple times during the season. One of the other primary benefits, obviously, is this is a dwarf rose. It'll stay less than 2 feet in height, and we just don't have a lot of shrubs that stay less than 2 feet, so that's fantastic. And then, of course, it's disease resistant. I've included videos in the description of this video for planting woody shrubs and trees in different soil types. These roses, the drift roses, the knockout roses, they're really very tough woody shrubs. You don't have to do a whole lot of special anything to them, really. Just don't cover up anything that's not covered up when you purchase these. These would be very easy to kind of bury a little bit in mulch. The first year your red drift rose is in the ground, you're going to want to check it occasionally for watering. Stick your finger in the ground a couple inches deep and see if it's wet. If it's moist, leave it alone. When it dries out, drown this thing and then let it dry out again before you do that again. Once these are established, they're pretty drought tolerant. It blooms in cycles, and if you were to let it get too dry between that first spring flowering and that flowering that's going to occur sometime in early summer, it probably would take away a lot from the additional growth that you need to get these flower buds to form again. So do keep a close eye on it. It's like I say, it's extremely drought tolerant, but it's a plant that would benefit from some additional water during abnormally dry times. We definitely want to fertilize drift roses. I would do it right before they wake up from dormancy, so after the worst of your winter is past. Any outdoor rose fertilizer that's slow release would be ideal, or anything for flowering shrubs would be ideal, something that lasts 3 to 4 months. Drift roses definitely benefit from pruning, like all roses, near the end of winter before they start to wake up. Any little bit of shearing that you do on this increases the amount of new growth that you have on it. And each of these little stems, where this one was pruned before it woke up, each of these stems have 6 splits from where it was pruned, and each of those splits have 5 to 6 flower buds. So I've increased probably by 4-fold the amount of flowers I'm going to get by doing that late winter pruning. If you need to shear these again, I would do that after one of the flower cycles in the summer. One of the primary benefits is obviously, like I said, it's disease resistance. It's really amazing how few spots these things actually have on the leaves, despite the fact that they're being overhead irrigated. So that's pretty amazing. They do get all the insects that other roses get. Everything loves to chew on roses, it seems like. There's obviously organic and non-organic treatments for those types of pests if those occur. Deer absolutely love roses. And so if you have deer issues, if you put these out in open space where the deer are, they'll eat them to the ground. So what are you waiting for? Even you can grow the low maintenance, disease resistant red drift rose. Thank you for watching my video, and if it was helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for future videos. Also comment below with any questions you have about drift roses. Thanks again.